All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, moms and dads, wherever you may be, whatever time and day it might be for you, happy holiday season from the virtual chapter. We are here for our December meeting of 2025, and oh, what fun we are going to have this evening. So it's great to have everybody here with us. And I am Michael Watson, one of your hosts, and there is another one of us who will introduce herself.
Hi there, I'm Karen Han. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
And look at that. Karen Hand is a star, isn't she? Do you see the whole constellation there?
That's right.
Oh, beautiful. Nice, nice. Good to see you. So, what's going on in your neck of the woods, Karen?
Oh, we are snowed in. It is snowy. It's cold. I made chicken soup today. It's a good day for that.
Mm.
So that's what's going on here. Very, very, very cold, and it looks very Christmassy. Though I prefer a palm tree Christmas personally, but
Mm.
lots of people like a white Christmas.
Yeah. And what did you cook?
Chicken soup, chicken noodle soup.
It's lovely, lovely for that winter weather.
Oh, yeah.
See, now down here today, we just had a frittata for dinner because we'd been watching The Lion King, and I heard that song, that Kahuna Frittata song, and I thought, oh, that would be really great for dinner as well. So that's been beautiful. So great. The holiday is coming in full force. I do have a couple of things that I want to announce, and I don't know, Karen, you may have some as well. Where are my dates here? Hmm. Oh, here we go. Um, you got anything in December coming
I
ahead?
do not in December, no.
Okay. Well, in January, on the 10th and 11th of January, is the board certified hypnosis training. So if any of you, of course, for this is one of the ones where you have to be a member of IACT or MDHA. But if you are a member of the association and you want to get board certified, this would be the opportunity to do that. It's a weekend program, and we just share all kinds of great tips and tricks and things to make sure that what it is that you're doing is fully up to snuff and beyond, and give you hopefully some new things that you'd never seen before. So it's a 2 day program, and it's a whole lot of fun, and will be great. January 10th and 11th. Anything else in January, Karen?
I do the ICBCH virtual conference, January 23rd, 24th, and 25th. I'll be teaching a couple of classes during that conference, and it'll be a nice conference. You can sit at the comfort of your own home and learn, learn, learn.
Ah, so it's a virtual conference. I didn't really realize that this time.
It
So
is a virtual conference, yeah.
all right, and notice that it starts just festive, just for the season. It starts out with IC.
Yes.
The ICBCH will be, yeah, in January. And then in February on the 21st and 22nd. And I can't tell you all the details yet. And I'm straining at the bit because I'm just waiting for a couple more responses and details. But the Galaxy of the Stars, February 21st and 22nd, we're going to have some really great people. And for those of you who have not attended the Galaxy before, just so you know about it, it's 2 days. It's all day Saturday and Sunday, and each day has two presenters. So unlike the usual kind of hour-long things that you see at conferences and workshops, these are four class act presenters, and they each have like a half a day to do their thing. The theme, since it's the Galaxy of the Stars, is oh God! Oh no! I'm going to forget the words. It's the next generation. There we go. And what we're really looking at are, we stand on the shoulders of Dave Ellman and Milton Erickson and Bandler and Grinder and whoever else, has set this path in motion for us. And what we're really interested in this program, at least, are things that are more out of the last 20 or fewer years. So things that some folks that have been around a while may still never have seen, and just further developments in the field. So it's going to be some really good stuff. And like I said, very, very special speakers. So I can hardly wait to give you the full announcement, but to watch this space for more information.
Will do.
Yeah.
All
What
right.
else you got, Karen?
March is pretty open at this stage of the game. Oh, no, no, no. In March, every Monday in March, we'll be doing the presenter series, the people who are doing pre and post conference events at the IACT IMDHA conference will
Mhm.
come and tell us, give us a tease about what they're talking about. So we'll be doing that on the all the Mondays in March.
Yeah, and by the way, and there are 5 Mondays in March, so there are 5 sessions like that. It is at 7:30 Eastern time, so actually the same time. No, I'm sorry, I'm lying to you. It is at 8:30 Eastern time, 7:30 Chicago, the same time that we are in now. So just like this, except it is only an hour long instead of an hour and a half. And each of the folks that are presenting pre and post conference programs at the upcoming conference in the spring, we'll have a half an hour to talk to you about the thing it is that they are doing, as Karen said, and answer some questions and all that good stuff. So that is going to
Coming up
be.
in May, we've got IACT IMDHA. That's the first through the third, right, Michael, in May? First through the
It
third?
is the first to the third. I think that's right. Is that Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, first to the third. Exactly. So
Then there's Hypno Thoughts on down the line. And do you have anything else that you want to announce? Because I have
no,
a brand new announcement
we'll
to
go
make, if you
right
don't
ahead.
mind. I don't think she'll mind. It hasn't been officially announced yet, but I don't think she will mind. Barb Davies will mind if I announce it tonight. I'm going to be the keynote speaker for the Canadian conference in Toronto.
Mm,
That's, yeah, I'm very excited about that. They're really bringing it back. They had it back this year, and it was a small conference, and they're growing it. So I'm really excited to help Barb get that Canadian conference going again.
yeah.
It is October 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
Wow, October already.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah, I
gosh,
know.
yeah. Well, you're going to have to keep reminding us of that one, but by then, Canada should be the 51st state, and
Uh,
we'll be all.
if I like Toronto, I might stay. I'll let you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. All right. Well, good deal.
So, one of the things that we had lined up for tonight, you're through with announcements, right,
Yeah, yeah.
Michael? Yeah. One of the things we had lined up for tonight was for some people to give us gifts. I mean, it is the holiday party after all. So, we have some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people who've made some offerings to give us some inspirational thoughts or techniques or something like that. And I'd really love to start off with that. Now, coming up later on, Michael is going to treat us to his Tibetan Star, which is just magnificent. And we want to take a little look at some traditions too along the way. But let's get started with opening the presents. What do you say?
I
Let's,
say yes.
who should go first? Randy Light. I would love to feel your energy come through the screen. Would you start us off?
Absolutely. All right, you guys, I'm going to share with you just it's a quick, simple, wonderful, heartfelt thing. It's a closed eye process and it will relax you and get you into a beautiful state. And like Karen said, start the gift. So I love to do this. I think I did something similar last year, but I shortened it. But anyway, so go ahead and close your eyes. And on your next breath in, take a double or triple breath in through your nose real rapidly and hold it in. It's hard for it to hear it, but like 3 breaths in and then hold it in. And with your eyes closed, look up with your eyeballs, connecting with your higher self and your intuition. Lower your eyeballs. And when you choose to breathe out, give yourself that suggestion to relax and feel yourself relax as you imagine a sound wave flowing through you from the top of your head through your body to the tips of your toes. And then we're going to do that again. So on your next breath in, do that double or triple breath in real rapidly. This instantly calms you. Hold it in for as long as you comfortably can. With your eyes closed, look up with those eyeballs, connect with your higher self, your intuition, your third eye. Lower your eyeballs, and this time when you breathe out, imagine a healing sound wave relaxing the muscles behind your eyes and your jaws, neck, shoulders, all the way down to your toes. Now we're going to do that one more time. Double or triple breath in real rapidly. Holding it in, looking up, connecting with that higher self. Lower the eyeballs. And when you breathe out, tell yourself relax. Feel yourself relax as that sound wave flows through you and you begin to feel like you're melting right there into the chair. Now, focus your breathing on your heart. And as you breathe in and out, imagine you're breathing in and out through your heart. And imagine or pretend that you're breathing in and out love, unconditional love, universal love, breathing in love and out love. So love is in you and surrounding you. Just keep focusing your breathing on your heart and imagine or pretend you're breathing in love and out love. So love is in you and surrounding you. Now, to amplify that feeling of love, invite your heart to open and see and hear and feel your heart opening, perhaps like a rosebud opening to a magnificent red rose, or like a door opening, tunnel flowing, or vortex spinning. So, as you invite your heart to open, feel your heart opening and really breathe in and out that wonderful, unconditional, universal love. This activates your heart's intelligence, gets you out of your head and into your heart, balances your nervous systems. Now, really, to amplify that feeling of love even more, choose a moment in your lifetime when you felt very loving or loved or both. That memory could have been yesterday or many years ago. Could have been petting an animal, dancing, holding someone throwing a party for you, a kiss. It's your creative mind. Just choose one moment in time when you felt very loving or loved or both. And I'm going to count backwards from 3 to 1. Each number is going to relax you. I'll make a swishing sound and you will arrive in that wonderful, loving memory. So, with the count of 3, pick a memory now and begin to time travel back to that wonderful, loving memory. 2, time traveling back to that wonderful memory. And with the count of 1, be in that memory now. See the details, hear the sounds, feel the feelings, feel the love, and rewind it. Make it bigger, brighter, more lifelike, and really immerse yourself in that feeling of love, unconditional love, universal love, breathing in love and out love. Really breathe that loving feeling into your heart. And as you activate your heart's intelligence, I'm going to share as you continue to breathe in and out of your heart and feel that loving feeling, how powerful you truly are and how powerful this is. As you focus on your heart, you get out of your head and into your heart, you wake up your heart's intelligence. And the average human being, as you focus and breathe in and out of your heart, when a regular person is just breathing, their heart emits photons of light, but only 20 photons of light per second. And photons are the smallest possible packets of electromagnetic energy. They're actually light, they're little packets of light. And you just normally breathe in and out about 20 photons of light per second. But now, when you focus your breathing on your heart and you have a loving energy, that amount increases to 100,000 photons of light per second. This is the time of lights. This is the festival of lights. This is your light. You now are focusing 100,000 photons of light per second that has been shown to heal disease, change matter. Use that energy, that light, bring us all together to send love around the earth, to bring light into the hearts and minds of decision makers, to bring light into you right now. And imagine yourself breathing in and out this wonderful light into you right in front of you. And make a promise to yourself to love and accept yourself, to stop self criticism, and to have your back, to be there for yourself. This increases all of your gifts and helps you go out into the world and be a better you and help others be a better them. Send light all across the world so that light and love is what we embrace. We move and elevate the consciousness of humanity and move us into love. Move us into love with our light now. And make sure you make a promise to stop self criticism. Even take a moment before you come back to the here and now to put your hands on your heart and imagine yourself waking up in the morning. And do it here and now while you imagine yourself waking up in the morning. putting your hands on your heart the minute you come to consciousness, the moment you come to consciousness, and tell yourself hello or good morning, say your name and say, I love you 4 times. Imagine yourself doing it and do it here and now. So you always know someone has your back and it's you and that you're going to be okay. Now I'm going to count from 1 to 3. When I get to 3, I'll make a swishing sound and you'll be back in the present, eyes open, wide awake with this wonderful feeling of love and light. Starting right now with the count of 1, take a big, deep energy breath in. 2, speeding up with a wonderful feeling into the present, into a new way of thinking, being, feeling. 3, open those eyes, feeling light, free, and energized.
Beautiful, Randy. Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you think
My
we can
pleasure.
stand some more? Maria.
Oh,
Maria.
yeah. Okay.
Yes, please share with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen. So, in this is a little combination of breath and movement and in a little bit of imagination. But we will be breathing at one point for a little bit faster than usual. So if you have any health conditions, mental, physical, please just pay attention to your body and do what feels right. And let me actually change my audio settings. Perfect. So since everyone is sitting comfortably and you're feeling supported, just make sure your feet are connected to the floor. And just really connect all the 4 corners of your feet to the floor. And as you close your eyes, visualize holding a small rock in one of your hands. As you close your eyes now. And just noticing what feeling that rock feels like in your hand, the texture, the weight. As you do, find yourself in the foothills of a small mountain and really feel your feet connecting with the mountain earth and the earth connecting with you. And hear the sounds underfoot and all around you. And see what you see, near and far. And now we begin to move up. We walk up. You can allow that rock to let go. And as we walk up, your breath becomes deeper and faster. And you're at the top of the mountain now. And as you pause to catch your breath, you also catch the breeze. And it's like the world around you is moving, is swaying, moving from side to side. And you begin to move with your physical body, moving your physical body, swaying from side to side, free and fluid and comfortable. And just notice how good this feels. And as you sway, your head tilts back and you catch a glimpse of the sky. It's gotten dark and the stars are out. With your head tilted back, your chest open, your palms open, you're bathed in starlight. And it's like you're alone with the universe and the world is yours. Because there's all the space above you, and there's all the space to the sides of you that you can feel. And all the space that you can't see but you know is there, like the space behind you. And it's like you're in the middle of the infinitely expanding universe. And as you stand like this, you begin to connect with the flow of life. The flow of life that is in you, within you, that you're of. A flow of life that is all around you. And as you bring your attention and focus between your eyebrows, you connect with life deeply and fully. And feel what it feels like. And now bringing your attention to the pit of your throat and resting there. Now flowing down your right shoulder, past the inside of your elbow and the inside of your right wrist, and life pulsating through your fingertips, your thumb, your index finger, your middle finger, your ring finger, and your pinky. And life flowing back up through your wrist and your elbow and your shoulder, and coming again to rest at the pit of your throat. Now flowing down the left shoulder, past the shoulder and the elbow and the inside of your wrist. And notice life pulsating through your fingertips, like this. And now flowing back up, past the wrist and the inside of your elbow and your shoulder. And resting again at the pit of your throat. And moving down to that soft spot beneath where your rib cage meets. And resting there and connecting with life deeply. And now connecting through and through from that soft spot to the pit of your throat to between your eyebrows. And just pause and enjoy. And you can bring that experience right back as you begin to become aware and come back into the room. Taking your own time. When you're ready, just open your eyes.
That was lovely, Maria. Thank you very much. It may be harder and harder to come back between each, but I'm going to continue to give it a try. We have a couple of more gifts that have been offered to us, and I am looking here for Brenda. I lost Brenda Rhodes. I wonder if she had to leave. And Dan Cleary was going to do something as well, and he fell out, fell off. I understand. I understand. So there were a couple of more who were planned, and for some reason we lost them. Dan is coming back, it looks like. But Michael, you had wanted to launch a little bit of a tradition, a look at traditions. We have a few minutes before we start with the star. Is that right? Oh, you're muted, Michael.
That's so much better, though. It makes it a holiday game. That is, if you can, like, watch my lips move, and you'll know
Very
that I'm telling the
hypnotic.
truth. So yeah, there are a few things. Because here we are at this holiday season of Festivus, and uh, and and it's kind of an interesting thing because Karen and I were talking about this. This discussion comes up every year. It's like, well, what do we want to call this? And we call it our holiday, our holiday gathering. But I also really want to make sure that we continue to respect the traditions of people, and somehow or another, it seems like one of the ways that folks try to be politically correct about this is simply not to refer to their own individual holidays and experiences. And that seems like a shame. I don't want to lose Christmas. I like Christmas. So that's my deal. But there are other people that are celebrating different things at the same time of the year. And it's curious because the calendar seems to have a lot to do with that, doesn't it? It's the end of the year, the beginning of the year. It is Randy Light, and with quotes around her last name as well. Made an acknowledgement of that, right? That this solstice is the beginning of the shift from less and less darkness to more and more light again, coming back into the world of light and the world coming alive again and the starting of new things. So there's all kinds of places that we can go with that, and I'm going to save these things for a little while later. We've still got like Dan's presentation and maybe another one. But one part of it that I just want to share right off, because I found this on Facebook today, and it just so delighted me because somebody asked the question, what toys or gifts or things do you remember as a child that we don't have anymore? And it was kind of interesting because I'm going to share some of my list, and it's funny because we're all from different places as well, and some of us, Jen, I bet you have different names for a whole lot of these child toys that we had back in the. By the way, my childhood goes back in way back into the 50s, you know. But here's what I want you to notice. So some of you remember cooties. Remember cooties? Right? And so there were these bugs, and you would roll dice or something, and you'd get the pieces to put them together. And I can't even remember, what happened. Then there were Lincoln Logs, there were Tinker Toys, and then there was the ever so famous Erector set, where young boys learned, and girls, of course, but they weren't supposed to let anybody know back in the 50s that they were also interested in maybe becoming an engineer or an architect or something. Then somebody mentioned Big Wheel, which is the most current of any of these things. Some of you might remember Big Wheel, like a three-wheel, it was like a three-wheel bicycle or something, right? A tricycle.
I think
Um,
these things still exist, Michael. A
do
lot
they?
of them.
A lot
Do
Yeah.
of them
they?
do, yeah.
Yeah. Well, by the way, Lincoln Logs and Tinker Toys and the Erector set, from what I understand, all came from Chicago, by the way, Karen,
How
because
about it?
because during the winter they're inside, they got to do something, so that was the deal. Then somebody mentioned, and it was the first one that occurred to me actually, was Slinkies.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and what the hell is that? You give this to a kid today, so it's a spring, so right? But gosh, we had the creative
It's one of the
capacity.
toys I still keep in my
Well,
office.
there you go.
It's a toy that when I saw clients in my office, it was a game that we would sometimes play. This is hard
Slinky,
to do. This is
Slinky.
hard to do on Zoom, I will admit.
Everyone loves a Slinky. There's a song. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then there was Mr. Potato Head, some of you might remember. And then there was the Etch a Sketch. I think that may still be around, but mostly I have one now that's a keychain. It's just that big. Tiddlywinks. Oh my God, I thought
yeah,
Abraham Lincoln must have played with Tiddlywinks, but they were made out of charcoal probably at the time. Spirograph. You remember the Spirograph?
yes, yeah.
And then here's one they wouldn't even let this be legal now. Jarts or lawn darts,
Lawn darts,
right?
right? They're not legal anymore.
They're heavy. They were pointed on the end, and they're just as dangerous as horseshoes. But
Right.
yeah, what a
What
popular.
about Light Bright. Remember
Yeah,
Light Bright?
yeah. And by the way, Light Bright, Randy, is going to be a counterexample to something you'll hear it in a minute because
Right.
there's something that really stands out in this list. And then there's GI Joe
Barbie, I was going to say
and
Barbie.
Barbie. I told you today I was so disappointed that they never made a Barbie out of Queen Elizabeth. I thought that would be really great, a royal Barbie. Mousetrap. Do you remember Mousetrap, the
Yeah,
game? Which basically was building a Rube Goldberg machine, where one thing kicks off the
you're
next thing,
right.
kicks off the next
Right.
thing, and you built it during the progress of the game. And then when the other guy landed on the wrong space, if you had everything in order, you could hit the button and it would trap them. Oh my gosh. Um, Barrel of Monkeys. Some of you remember this?
Yeah.
Just basically they hooked onto each other and you would have to like try to pick up a whole chain by keep adding one more, kind of a reverse Jenga. Pickup sticks as well. I haven't heard about that for a long time. And Gumby and Pokey. We have to remember Gumby and Pokey. Some of us played with marbles when we were kids. And by the way, I was a really special marble kid when we were in school because we would play with marbles at recess for like out in the schoolyard, and you get to win marbles from each other. And my grandmother and father both worked in a factory in Aurora, Illinois, Stevens Adamson, that made ball bearings. And so what I had was these nice steelies. Everybody liked their marbles, but they really wanted those groovy, shiny metal ones that.
Now, at my elementary school, Michael, the boys played marbles and the girls played jacks.
Yeah, and Jax is one of the other ones on the list. I'm just curious. Does everybody know what Jacks are? Oh, good, good. Yeah, this has been seen before.
My favorite, one of my
Oh,
favorites.
Yeah,
man, yeah.
yeah. And then somebody put Weebles on the list. That's interesting. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. We remember those. color forms. Does anybody remember color forms?
Yeah.
They were like little pieces of vinyl and cut in different shapes and stuff, and then you could sort of put them together on this board to, and they made some specialty ones. I think there was one that was like a weather map as well, and you could put the sun on it and, and stuff like that. Um, they don't have those anymore. Um, Chatty Cathy,
Yeah.
Betsy Wetsy, everybody wants a doll that pees, and because I don't know why that was so
Right.
important, but seemed to be. Um, Hungry Hippos and Rock'em Sock'em Robots, they both seem to be related to each other, very uh, similar games. Silly Putty, let's see, tops, spinning tops, somebody put on the list. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought about that. And I can remember brightly colored ones and ones that had like a pump handle and they would just go to town. And some of them that even made noise and hummed and, and stuff like that. Um, Cabbage Patch Dolls. Uh, the Easy Bake Oven is another counterexample to something I'm going to mention earlier. Oh my God, just give kids something that's electrical and it'll burn you, and and you're off to the races. Creepy crawlers as well, which were like melted plastic, I guess, or you could make, things that looked like like worms and, and all of that sort of stuff. And again, it was hot. Um, Betsy Wetsy, I mentioned the Viewmaster, I mentioned, and of course, board games, and even more so around the holidays when, our families would get together and stuff, we would
Card
spend
games.
card games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing that I noticed, with the exception of Light Bright, which I guess had to have a battery in it, and the Easy Bake Oven. All of these things that I've mentioned are not electrified. You
In
could
any
actually
way.
do them during a blackout.
No batteries.
No
No batteries
batteries,
required.
and with the exception of Etch a Sketch, no screens as well. How did we ever manage? But it was quite an interesting collection and a nice tour to look back at. Oh my gosh, I remember that. I remember that. I remember that. Um,
And it's interesting to note that we were active, playing with those things. We were doing things, building or moving things, or even
yeah,
with dolls, doing something a little bit more active than we are when we've got all of our electrified devices now.
absolutely. So, well,
So,
there's my list of toys. I think toys is a worthwhile topic.
yes.
But any again, we got a couple of other things about traditions and stuff like that to share with. But I'm wondering, is Dan with us now?
Uh, Dan dropped off again, but Brenda is here, and I
Oh, good.
definitely want to, she's back, and I definitely want to get to her piece. So let's move to that, and then we'll come back to look at some traditions. How's that,
That's great.
Brenda?
So, as everybody's been talking about, is the holidays are meant to be light. But reality is a lot of people also have pressures, expectations, emotional fatigue. And for the next few minutes, just give yourself a gift of stillness. So right now, close your eyes and take one slow breath in and slowly breathe it out. And feel your shoulders just drop. Feel your jaw release. Let your breath soften your entire nervous system, allowing your muscles to just melt. Now your body responds instantly to permission. So right now, give yourself permission to rest. And just imagine or notice all the noise and tension within your life that you've been carrying. Every to-do list, every expectation. Just imagine it sliding off your shoulders like a heavy coat that you no longer need. and just set it down beside you for a moment. You can pick it up whenever you want, but for now, just let it down beside you. And just know that you're not abandoning your responsibilities. You're simply remembering that you are more than them. And as you are relaxing there, imagine in the way that you do a peaceful place, a place that calls to you. Could be a place in nature. It could be a place when you were a child where you were playing. It could be any place that's just serene and relaxing. And as you connect to this place, imagine you are magical, so very magical. And you know, with your intuition, the perfect color to surround yourself when you need peace through the busy day, through the tensions, through the expectations. Just imagine this color surrounding you, enveloped in a bubble of this beautiful color. Now, you may not see it. It might be a feeling, a sensation, a knowing, an intuition. But whatever way you connect with this color, just imagine that surrounding you as a bubble. And this special bubble is your protection. Now, if there's anything outside of you that is anything other than positive, it bounces off and away from this bubble. Love, kindness, joy, laughter, happiness comes all to you. This is your special bubble, and you can put this bubble around you anytime you need. And in fact, some of us have family members that are a little challenging. And when we put this bubble around us, it'll give us the availability to take a step back, to take a deep breath, to get that oxygen to our brain so that we can look and notice and connect with the fact that, maybe this stuff is somebody else's and they're just reacting out of their pain. Very good. Now take a nice deep breath in and let it go. And just know that you can always come back to your special place. Or you can use this bubble whenever you want, even when you go to the grocery, or maybe when you go to Target for that special gift that you want to get. It's your tool. I'm going to count you back to the count of 3. And when I reach the number 3, you'll open your eyes feeling absolutely fabulous. 1, 2, 3, coming all the way back and feeling great.
A lovely moment of stillness. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Lovely, Brenda.
Thank you.
Michael, we're going to talk about traditions, and I'd like to offer one very quickly before we move on. My tradition this time of year is Santa Claus. I love Santa Claus. I have always been a believer in Santa Claus. Santa Claus is asleep right back there on my floor. He's been hypnotized to rest and sleep, and he's taking advantage of all of this hypnosis that we're going through it. So what I wanted to share with you tonight isn't really a hypnosis process, but a story and the truth about Santa Claus, if you don't mind, in the form of a conversation between a dad and his son. And the son has reached that age that parents are always thinking, oh no, when's this going to happen? And the son looks at his dad and says, Dad, I think I'm old enough now. Is there really a Santa Claus? And Dad looks at his son. He says, okay, I agree, son, that you're old enough. But before I tell you, I have a question for you. You see, son, the truth is a very dangerous gift. Once you know something, you can never unknow it. Once you know the truth about Santa Claus, you'll never again understand and relate to him as you do now. So my question is, son, are you ready? Do you really want to know? Yes, Dad, I want to know. Okay, son, then I'll tell you. Yes, there is a Santa Claus. Really? Oh, really? And Dad says, oh, yes, really. But it's not the old man with the long beard and in the red suit. Oh, no, that's just what we tell the kids. You see, kids are too young to understand the true nature of Santa Claus. So we explain it to them in a way that they can understand. The truth about Santa Claus is that he's not a person at all. He's an idea. Think of all those presents that Santa gave you over the years. I actually bought those for you myself. I watched you open them. And did it bother me that you didn't thank me? Of course it didn't. In fact, it gave me great pleasure. You see, Santa Claus is the idea of giving just for the sake of giving, without thought or thanks or acknowledgement. Remember when I saw that woman collapse on the subway last week and called for help? I knew that she would never know that it was me that summoned the ambulance. I was being Santa Claus when I did that. Oh, Dad, you were? So now that you know, son, you're part of it. You have to be Santa Claus now, too. That means that you can never tell young kids the secret. And now you have to help us select presents for them. And most important, you now have to look for opportunities to help other people. You got it? And I just want to thank all of you tonight because all of you showed up here tonight to be Santa Claus
Mm.
and to share your gifts with us. And it's so, so, so appreciated. And that's why I love Santa Claus and this time of year.
Nice.
That's my tradition. Oh, I can't hear the bells. We can't hear the bells. Thank you, Michael. I'm going to pass it off to you, my friend, and you were going to have some chat about traditions and the Tibetan Star. And I think the rest of this time is yours, Michael.
Okay, well, and I might draw some other people into it from time to time, so I hope that's okay. Because there's two things, and I really appreciate you sharing that Virginia, yeah, the Santa Claus story because it reminds me, of course, of that famous letter from little Virginia O'Hanlon. And the thing that's interesting to me about this is that I just pulled it up a second ago to look at it, and I discovered that AI has a much longer article about the thing than, in fact, the thing itself, the letter. But you've probably all heard this, and I think it just echoes what Karen was saying so well that I'd love to just run through it really quickly with you as well, and then we'll get on with the star and a couple of other things. Because Virginia had written, she's an 8-year-old. This is 1897, by the way. She wrote to the New York Sun. She says, Dear editor, I am 8 years old, and some of my little friends say there is no Santa Claus. Papa says, if you see it in the sun, it's so. Please tell me the truth. Is there a Santa Claus? So the New York Sun replies, Virginia, your little friends are wrong. They have been affected by the skepticism of a skeptical age. They do not believe except what they see. They think that nothing can be which is not comprehensible by their little minds. All minds, Virginia, whether they be men's or children's. By the way, I just noticed the absence of woman in that, but 1897, whether they be men's or children's, are little. In this great universe of ours, man is a mere insect, an ant in his intellect, as compared with the boundless world about him, as measured by the intelligence capable of grasping the whole of truth and knowledge. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. He exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist, and you know that they abound and give to your life its highest beauty and joy. Alas, how dreary would be the world if there were no Santa Claus. It would be as dreary as if there were no Virginias. There would be no childlike faith then, no poetry, no romance to make tolerable this existence. We should have no enjoyment except in sense and sight. The eternal light with which childhood fills the world would be extinguished. Not believe in Santa Claus? You might as well not believe in fairies. You might get your papa to hire men to watch in all the chimneys on Christmas Eve to catch Santa Claus, but even if they did not see Santa Claus coming down, what would that prove? Nobody sees Santa Claus, but that is no sign that there is no Santa Claus. The most real things in the world are those that neither children nor men can see. Did you ever see fairies dancing on the lawn? Of course not. That's no proof that they're not there. Nobody can conceive or imagine all the wonders that are unseen and unseeable in the world. You may tear apart the baby's rattle and see what makes the noise inside. Excuse me. But there is a covering, but there is a veil covering the unseen world, which not the strongest man, nor even the united strength of all the strongest men that ever lived, could tear apart. Only faith, fancy, poetry, love, romance can push aside that curtain and view and picture the supernal beauty and glory beyond. Is it all real? Ah, Virginia, in all this world there is nothing else real and abiding. No Santa Claus? Thank God he lives, and he lives forever. 1,000 years from now, Virginia, nay, 10 times 10,000 years from now, he will continue to make glad the heart of childhood. So there we are. And if you see it in the sun, you know that it's true. So what a lovely, lovely story. And thanks, Karen, for spurring that. That was that it was right out of your question, and something that I had not yet pulled up this holiday season in my my getting ready.
I think
So
it's also interesting, Michael, to note that we each told stories, and stories are just as hypnotic as anything else.
yeah,
It's very hypnotic, is it not? People
exactly.
remember stories.
Yeah. And what I noticed, Karen, you and I must be Ericksonians because everybody else asked the people to close their eyes. It's just an observation here. So when I think about the holiday time for me, for Michael, in terms of traditions, my own tradition, of course, is, and again, some of you know some of my story. I don't need to get into too much detail about it, but I was churched, no question about it, and I grew up in the church choir. I mean, I was a 6-year-old soprano, and it was my education. It was multiple days a week, and so Christmas time was really a very special thing because it was that one time when church was at midnight, which is a big deal for a child. And what I remember to this day, I'm a big fan of, and by the way, Randy, you might appreciate this because I think you gave me some once. I'm a big fan of frankincense. It is just my, one of my most important aromas, if you will, for things like this. And it really comes out of that. It comes out of midnight mass. What I remember as a little kid on Christmas Eve in this big vaulted church was we had a procession that went in from outside. And somehow or another, it doesn't really work this way all the time, but in my memory, it is this way. Just before midnight, we'd be standing outside the doors of the church and we would begin to come in for the procession. and there would be just a little bit here, there, a little bit of snow. Nothing like nothing like what Chicago is dealing with right now, but just this beautiful little shimmering, reflective in the light. And again, a little child, late at night, which we never get to stay up this late. And in fact, we even had at my church at midnight mass, we even had instruments add, not just the choir, but we had trumpets and we had timpani, and stuff like that. And it was just so special. So that's really an important part of it to me. But there's also in my tradition, and I suspect in most of yours. So I'm going to be curious, and I'm encouraging you to to shout out and tell me what was going on in your experience. But the thing that I remember, of course, is two things for Christmas. Well, three things for Christmas, right? Midnight mass, Christmas morning, and presents underneath the Christmas tree, and then family gathering for dinner, and the whole gang sitting around a huge longer table than usual. And some of you have heard me talk about my 23 cousins, so we were all gathered in the same place, on Christmas every year, and it was just such a special time. And and of course I associate that also with all of the winter stuff that we did get the snow, and sledding and skating, and I lived down by the river that froze all the way across, every year. So we would go down with a big tractor and clear the ice, and we had a full size, Olympic and bigger size skating rink, all winter as well, uh, down there, and that was beautiful stuff. How about the rest of you? What can you tell us about, because by the way, and I don't want to make the assumption, as I said earlier, this is a holiday season for everybody, whether yours is associated with Christianity or Jesus's birthday, or whether it's the winter solstice, or Kwanzaa,
Festival of
or
Lights, Hanukkah, whatever.
Hanukkah, whatever it is for you. I'd love to anybody that has some part of their tradition that they would like to share with us. It'd be nice to hear what that was like for you all. Just shout it out,
I can share if you'd
please,
like.
please.
And by the way, do you know that Hanukkah, like in Israel, is not a big holiday? It's just one of the minor holidays that ends up being a big holiday in the US. So I grew up in
Imagine
this.
that.
I don't think you even get time off for Hanukkah. So I grew up in Soviet Union, so there was no religious celebrations of any kind, but we did
Mhm.
celebrate New Year, and you celebrated New Year with putting up a New Year's tree and decorating it with toys. And then Grandpa Frost would come at night and leave presents under the tree. And then you'd wake up and there would be presents. But it's the biggest holiday of the year. And so, like, you had to cook special dishes, and sometimes it like called for ingredients that you had to find and like save throughout the year so you can cook it on that one special night. But before midnight, at some point, you'd sit down, you'd have food, and then you'd get dressed in costumes and you'd walk around your neighbors and you'd sing songs. And your neighbors would give you like cookies or little clementines or, things like that. And you'd kind of go around and share. And then there was midnight, and then you came out to watch the fireworks because all the cities would have big fireworks that you can see from anywhere in the city where you lived. And so you saw the fireworks, and then kids just hung out and sledded and stayed outside.
Mm.
Wow.
How nice. And
Yeah.
these things that are so big, particularly when we're children, as hypnotists, we all know about anchors and anchoring and all of that sort of stuff. Well, now, so Maria talks about this and she mentions midnight and fireworks, and all of a sudden I find myself feeling seven. Or maybe 10, but something like that. It really all comes back, and these things are so strong within us. Yeah, that's nice. Anybody else going once?
My
I'll
mother
share
is
some.
from
Yeah.
my mother is from it was Sudetenland then, Maria, Czechoslovakia now. And they did celebrate Christmas, but they celebrated it back in, I don't know, the olden days, the 1930s maybe, um, by putting actual candles on the Christmas tree. The Christmas tree was set up on Christmas, and they went to midnight mass, and someone dressed as Santa Claus, an aunt or someone else, brought the Christmas tree after midnight mass, and they set it up and decorated it then with the uh, live candles, and it burned for a day, and then and I guess it went away. But that was a lovely tradition too. I just can't imagine having live candles on a
Yeah.
tree, for heaven's sake, you know.
Yeah. My German grandmother had live candles on her Christmas tree as well, and did just exactly that. She set it up the day before, like the Christmas Eve or something. I don't know when, but it was
Yeah.
very last minute, and kept it through the 6th of January.
Oh, maybe they did. Yeah, maybe they did keep it to the 6th of
Yeah,
January.
because see, well, that's one of the nice things on the Christian calendar, on the church calendar. Most holidays, I don't know if you all know this or even care, but most holidays have an octave. There's like an 8 day, So Easter, for example, is from Easter Sunday until the next week Sunday. It's all considered the Easter holiday. Christmas is the exception because unlike the rest of them that get 8 days, Christmas gets a dozen. It gets 12, the 12 days of Christmas that we're all familiar with from that, from that song that we
Yeah.
remember, when we were children. Who knows the names of all of the reindeer?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
please,
so,
Russia.
so just to sort of, if you can help me understand, because, and that sounds, even though I grew up here, but Christmas has always been a mystery to me because it was several things happening at the same time. We heard about it as children. So, birth of Christ, there was Santa Claus, there's a Christmas tree, there's a 12 days of Christmas. But do they all connect together,
Yes.
or are they all separate things that evolved over time? So, somewhere there's a story that came out that Santa Claus was actually a figment that Coca-Cola came up with. That's why the colors are white and red, and Coca-Cola came out with that. So I mean, it was all very confusing as to
Sure.
where was it besides the birth of Christ, but how does everything else flow together?
Rachna, where did you
Yeah.
grow up? Where were you hearing these stories? Or where were you when you were hearing these stories?
So I was born in India, but I came here at the age of 3. So in school, so you would hear these
Okay.
different the stories, and then the Coca-Cola thing was much later. I
Yeah.
think probably 12 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
And at home, then here in this country, did you do Christmas trees and things like that, or what did you celebrate in this American environment?
Sure. Initially we didn't, we were probably getting used to the culture, et cetera. And then I think when my younger brother was born, that's when we started celebrating because now there were multiple kids in the house and just that idea it's a holiday and just as an activity to do together, to
Sure.
be just bring us together and we're all part of an activity and forces the family to be together working on a project, let's say. So that whole idea of togetherness is where we started, and then just the gifts exchanging as well to make it a little festive, a little because everything was on holiday. So
Yeah.
that's what we started to do that later on. But I always wondered is that, are all of these things really related to the birth of Christ? How did it evolve? What, like the 12 days of Christmas and the songs and then the Christmas tree. How is that a part of Christ's birth and everything? If you,
So I have one part of that that might be helpful to you, and that is Santa Claus. So first of all, Coca-Cola, you're absolutely right, and I can't remember what year that Coca-Cola Santa Claus showed up, but they had an illustrator that made the picture that now has become our sort of set in stone. This is what Santa Claus looks like. But Santa Claus was around before that, and you've heard the poem "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" and all through the house. Something to notice about that poem is it was not the same Santa Claus that we're familiar with. As a matter of fact, he was a minute. What did he say? And he was an elf, a miniature guy,
Man, I mean, yeah.
right? Which is why he could come down the chimney on his miniature sleigh with 8 tiny reindeer, right? Very, very different than this big guy. You certainly couldn't sit on that Santa's lap.
Well,
That would
that's
be
right. Macy's couldn't monetize that Santa.
That's right. That's exactly right. But the other thing, speaking of Santa Claus, this hat, of course, being now we've got to, oh, we've got to change it. But this one, this is
Randy,
the
if
one
you're
that we
wanting to
know,
say
right?
something, jump in. Oh.
Well, I want you to notice that this hat, if it's stretched out, goes up to a point on the top, right? Because Saint Nicholas, not to be confused with Santa Claus, which is a variation of Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas was a bishop in Turkey. And there's some, and I don't, and to be fair, I don't want to tell the story wrong, but what I remember is that there was something about a girl that was getting married and they didn't have the money for her dowry, I think, something like that. And at night, in the middle of the night, right around the holy time of year, Saint Nicholas came by and threw some coins or something through her window, and she was able to get married. But the tradition goes back to like the eighth or ninth century, I think, way back. And so Santa has a pointed hat only because it really is a bishop's hat. Bishop, right? Typically goes up to a point. And now, of course, after so many hundreds of years, it just doesn't stand up like it used to. Uh, what can I tell you? But that's the connection with Santa Claus and the and the church and the religious holiday and all of that.
And the tree, how did the tree come about?
I think that the tree was a German thing, and I understand. I don't know how it was used in Germany. I do know that it was, I believe, Queen Victoria that brought the Christmas tree into the English tradition, and then of course the English tradition, well, fed all of the rest of us in the English speaking world, of course, subsequent to that. But there is some German tradition that I don't understand exactly about the Tannenbaum. We know
Yeah,
the
yeah,
we know the word, and we
yeah.
remember this song.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. I hope that was helpful.
And Jen, in Australia, it's summer, right? So your Santa Claus wears shorts.
Hmm.
Yeah. So everyone here, yes, Santa comes and might have a hat on, but so community events and things like that. Santa might come up on a boat, on a tinny, and then all the kids crowd around him. So the same lollies and things like that. But yeah, and people here like Christmas is more about sitting by the swimming pool and having seafood and then watching footy on TV and stuff like that. But yeah, so it's quite different.
Yeah.
One of the things that was so strange to me coming to Florida, although I was here a bunch of years ago. I was here in the '70s for a while as well, and so I grew up in the outside of Chicago, and it was snow everywhere and all of that stuff, and people would set up, out on my lawn right now. It isn't baby Jesus anymore. In fact, it's some Disney character or another with 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 neon lights. But what I remember, there's a place in Aurora, Illinois. There was a street, one neighborhood called Leonard's Avenue is the name of this street. And Karen, you've got something up by you that's similar to this too, I believe. And the whole street, both sides of the street, everybody involved gets together as a community and they decorate for Christmas. And in this particular place, it was a Catholic neighborhood, and so they had the wise man and the shepherds and all that stuff out in front of people's houses, like statues of them working down the street. And then finally at the end, there was a big Christmas crash, with baby Jesus and Mary and Joseph and the star and all of that. And again, as I remember it, it's always blanketed with snow.
Yeah.
And then when I came down to Florida, the first year that I was here, and it was Christmas time, I remember driving down a street, and of course there was no snow anywhere, but somebody had a manger nailed to a palm tree in their front yard, and it was like, oh my God, it doesn't quite fit with the way that I had thought and experienced this. And of course, as Jen pointed out, there are other places in the world that are very different from that Currier and Ives,
Yeah.
Christmas that some of us are so familiar with.
Brenda, you want to say something?
Yeah, I looked it up just so I was clear, but Christmas is actually from the pagan roots, where they're celebrating the winter solstice. And so Christmas actually, the Christians adopted some of this because they were trying to bring this into Christianity. And that was the way they could get the pagans to help be with the Christian
Okay.
aspect to convert them.
Exactly. And yeah, and of course the pagans, as you're saying it, the feast had also to do with the planets and
Yule.
stars and
Yeah.
the
The
exactly
solstice.
the
Yes.
solstice.
And
Exactly
I
right.
hate to veer us off of this, but speaking of stars, you have promised us something about a star, and we have 20 minutes left in the meeting. So
I
I don't want
have.
to derail what we're doing because I'm loving this, but I'm just
Okay. Well,
reminding.
yeah. So, well, let's do this. So, well, I'm going to take this hat off now, and well, let's see. Maybe not. Maybe I'm going to put it back on.
You're fine
Well,
either way. You're going to have us close our eyes. It will make a bit of difference.
yeah. Well, so first of all, I've got to ask everybody, I hope that somewhere in there, in your nuggins or wherever it is that you keep such things, that you have a dream. Do you have a dream? I should have asked this when we first opened up the channel tonight so that you could start thinking about it. But I know there's something that we want, there's something that we're going for. We work this way with our clients all the time. And so I'm not sure, but I suspect that you have some idea about some changes that you would like to unfold, maybe over the course of the next year, for example. And this is a perfect time for that. So I'd like you to just begin to get the idea. Don't work too hard on it yet. Just begin to get the idea that this is about manifestation and it's about bringing a dream that you have into expression in your life. The I've got the oh, they're good. I'm back in focus again. What I want to share with you is called I call it the Tibetan Star. It was taught to a young man named John Perkins, and John was a guy with the Peace Corps who, in 1963, when we had the Peace Corps, went to the Amazon on a mission, I guess, Peace Corps mission, and while they were there, they stumbled across the Shuar, which were the last, or as far as I know, the last indigenous people in the rainforest to be actually discovered. And the Shuar were a generation before this, rather, were really scary people. They were headhunters, and nobody wanted to be anywhere. Not a good idea. You might get eaten for their holiday dinner, and so people kept away from them. But when the Peace Corps came, the Shuar became a little more receptive because they realized that there were already, and again, we're talking about 1963, there was already beginning to be a disappearance of some of their lands, and the rainforests were threatened and all sorts of things. So they wanted people to be aware. They wanted the world to be aware of the changes that were taking place. And they invited John. They sort of took to this guy for whatever reason. They encouraged him to bring visitors, and not just like open to ecotourism the way that some of us might think about it now, but to people who maybe really could do something about it, especially scientists and researchers, and and maybe people that had some political clout and stuff. And John started doing that. But he learned from them this technique that I'm going to share with you that we call the Tibetan Star. And the strange thing about it is, the Shuar told John when he asked them about it, he said, where did this come from? And they told him that they had learned it from some Tibetan shamans. Now, this is really curious because how it is that the shamans of Ecuador and the shamans of Tibet interacted, I'm not sure. We didn't have the internet yet. We barely had electricity. And nonetheless, it's an interesting mystery. So they learned it from the Shuar, or I mean, they learned it from the Tibetans, but it also reflects something that was important in the Shuar culture. And one of the things that they believe, an expression that comes from them, is the world is as you dream it. And so, another title for this exercise, besides the Tibetan star, John Perkins calls it an exercise in changing the dream, which is kind of interesting. What I want to tell you about it is, and I want you to know this before you even start to do this with me, is that if you will do this little process that I'm going to share with you 2 or 3 times a week. And that's more than enough. It isn't one of these every day or twice a day or anything. 2 or 3 times a week. I guarantee you that some important changes will take place for you. And here's the thing that I want you to know is that you can respond to this or think about this in so many ways. We could talk about it spiritually, and we could talk about higher power and energy. We could talk about all of the things that we know about manifestation or that we might have learned from some schools or places that we've been taught. Or we can think about it with regard to some really good, sound psychological principles. Because what the process will do will align your head and your heart with the intention to bring this outcome into manifestation. And you'll see very clearly how it is that we do that. The other thing I need you to know, because I'm going to start to guide you through it in just a second, but the other thing that I want you to know from the beginning so that you are prepared for this when it happens. We tend to think, I always kind of joke about it. I say, when I do this, I like to start things off with a bang because there are going to be some explosions involved. I want you to know something about an explosion. An explosion is something that happens when a tremendous amount of energy is being released. So rather than that mindset that says this is some kind of destructive element, this explosions, no, 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 not in this case. What it is about expansion of energy in a really profound way. So I think that's probably about all I need to tell you about it. And in order to connect it to the holiday, and particularly for you, Rashida, I'd like you to because we were talking about these connections. The reason that this is important to me is I used to run a program on the 6th of January, which is the 12th day of Christmas, or well, it's actually Epiphany, the day of the wise men coming to Bethlehem, bringing gifts, by the way. So the connection there as well. So I always did it on Epiphany, and because it just seems to be right. Because what we know in that tradition, of course, is that they came to Bethlehem by following a star that guided them through the desert and through the night, through the darkness. Another way to say it. So, and you don't need to hook it up to that unless that's useful to you. But I like it that way. So what I'd like you to do is just take a moment to get comfortable. Here's another opportunity. You can close your eyes once again. I love it. I have, I have a face for Zoom when people's eyes are closed. So let yourself get comfortable and just take a moment to imagine that you're standing outside at night on the wide open plain. The land just stretches off into the distance, and 45 degrees above the horizon in the night sky rather, there's a bright, shining, radiant star that leads you through the desert. And for a moment, I'd like you to remember that I asked earlier if you had a dream. Because I know that dream is important to you. And of course, dreams are complex. Dreams have so much to offer us. So for a moment, I'd like you to just take that dream, to think about that dream. And in your mind's eye, just visualize or imagine or think about one aspect of that dream, however you think about it. Just one little aspect of that dream. And when you're ready, what I'd like you to do is take that aspect of the dream that you're holding in your mind now and send it out through your third eye, out into the night sky, out into that star. And as it reaches the star, you might notice that the star glows just a little more brightly for a moment. And then once again, it settles back down. And you know, as you look at the star now, that it contains within it that aspect of your dream that you have chosen to place there. And it's beautiful in the night sky. The star is so radiant. The night is so lovely and cool and comfortable. And you're moving towards your goal. And as you think about it now, I'd like you to identify for yourself one more aspect of that dream. And take that aspect, that second aspect of your dream, and allow it to go out through your third eye out into the night sky where it can be received by the star, and watch the star glow a little more brightly for a moment and then settle back down to its usual way where it can lead you through the night. Then just breathe comfortably and easily, enjoy the experience, and then allow finally one more aspect of that dream to come into your mind. And just as before, just take that one third aspect of the dream and through your third eye out into the night sky, send it into that star where it can be received and guide you. And the thing that I want you to know is when you practice this process on your own, you can begin at this point because you already know what the dream is. You have a star in the sky and you've placed one, two, three aspects of your dream in that star. So you can begin right from there, and standing out into the night sky, you can look at that beautiful star, knowing that it contains your dream and that it will lead you to the place that you want to go. And mentally imagine that you can draw that star down through the night sky, in through your third eye into the center of your head, where it lights up the entire center of your head, the crystalline beauty inside your head. And if you look around in there, in that shining, radiant light, you can see that one, two, three aspects of the dream that you've placed there. There in the center of your head. And now, with the understanding that your intention is to release the energy from the star into your thinking, into your mind, allow that star in the center of your head to explode now. Let yourself feel as that energy is released into your consciousness, into your mind, into your awareness, into your thinking, into your understanding. And then after a moment or so, the cosmic dust settles. And there in the center of your head, that bright, shining, radiant star containing those aspects of the dream that you want to manifest. And so now, for a second time, allow that star to explode once again, releasing its energy into your consciousness, into your awareness, into your thinking. After a moment, it settles down once again. And there, as you look around inside your head, that crystal and brightness, the beauty of it all, settling down. But for a third and final time, allow that star in the center of your head to explode now, releasing its energy into your consciousness, your awareness, your mind, your thinking, your understanding. That's right. And then when the dust settles once again, there in the center of your head, you see that beautiful radiant star, and I'd like you now to just drop that star down into your heart center. And there in your heart center, be aware that that dream that you intend to manifest resides there in your heart. And you can look on it, you can appreciate it, you can enjoy the beauty of it, the shining brightness of it, and allow that star there in your heart center to explode, releasing its energy into your being, into your life, into your body, into your expression. And then gently and easily let it all settle down a little bit for a moment. Enjoy the experience, but being aware of that light there in your heart, that special center that contains your dream. Allow it now for a second time to explode there in your heart center, releasing its energy into your heart, enlivening you. And after a moment, let it settle down just a little bit. And one third and final time, being aware there in the center of your heart, that bright shining star that's going to take you to your destination. So for a third and final time, allow that dream to explode there in your heart center, releasing its energy throughout your being now. That's right. And now, once again, being aware of that there in your heart, just allow it to rise back up into the center of your head, illuminating the darkness there. You can look around and see that one, two, three aspects of the dream and that crystalline brightness. But now let that star come out through your third eye, move out across the sky off into the distance to its place 45 degrees above the horizon, where it continues to guide you, where it continues to leave you. Whenever you're ready to draw upon this energy once again, all you need to do is to look up, to find the star, to draw it into your mind and explode it 3 times, to drop it down into your heart, to release the energy there 3 times, and to put it back again into the sky where it can continue to lead you, continue to guide you on your way. And that is the Tibetan Star. So you can come back here when you're ready, knowing that that star will be there for you whenever you want to use it again. And there we are. So welcome back. That's lovely. What a lovely group that we get together and we all take turns having everybody else get quiet, close their eyes, drop down inside, and just tap into those lovely places within us. So, Karen, I will begin, of course, with you to say I want to extend to you my blessing, wishes, greetings for a beautiful, beautiful holiday season. You know, I am so grateful to you and for what it is that you contribute to my life and to this chapter. And of course, you know, if I could talk to all of you, you know, I would do that. You know, I love y'all. So thank you all for being here and happy holidays.
And the same back to you, Michael. You have been doing this. I don't know if everybody knows, but Michael has been doing this quite a long time. Even before the virtual chapter, he was doing things in Orlando, and even before Orlando, in Chicago and in Denver and in San Francisco. And he's just a gatherer. He gathers people together, brings them together to learn and to celebrate and to enjoy each other. And for that, Michael, I think we're all pretty grateful.
All right.
I
Well, okay
appreciate it.
then. So everybody, watch for the recording tomorrow. Have a great, great holiday, and open up your microphones so that we can all send each other our blessings and love, and we'll be off.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays, whatever you
Happy
celebrate.
holidays.
Happy holiday,
Happy
everyone.
holidays.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
We'll see you
you.
in the
Happy
new year.
holidays,
Love you,
everybody.
lights.
Enjoy the holidays.
Happy to have
Don't
all
get
of you
too
in my
stressed.
life.
Bye bye. Bye, Shelley.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye,
Ready?
everybody.
I see you've got your hand up, Randy, but I think they're all about ready to turn off their. Are you gone? Ah, she's gone. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you
night.
next month. Bye.